from Kenya to Colombia, from Iraq to Korea, in slums, in schools, in prisons, and in theaters. Every day, people gather at TEDx events around the world to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. Today, you are part of a global conversation about our shared future. So what is this TEDx? TEDx is an initiative of the TED Conference, a nonprofit devoted to ideas worth spreading. We grant free licenses to allow TED-like events to spread globally. This event today is based on the TED Conference format and ideals, but is independently organized by your local community. So please make sure to thank the team of volunteers who worked so hard on today's event. It's their ideas, dedication, and time that made it all possible. It's they who booked all the speakers, and the views you'll hear today are, of course, those of those speakers, not necessarily of TEDs. But we hope their talks spark an exciting conversation among you. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for openness and for critical thinking, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you'll take out. And now, on with the show.
We don't know strangers. We can't lend them money because we don't trust them. And for now, the society's solution is to find a third party like banks. They take all the deposits, and when someone wants to borrow, they just directly turn to the banks. But for some small businesses, the banks will ask them to give their fixed assets, such as their cars, houses, as collateral, so that if they have default behaviors, the bank can take their assets and take the money. So for small businesses, it's quite hard for them to lend some money from the banks because their factories may be rented. So if there are any other ways we can borrow money from others without a third party, just like the picture in the right show. Now, blockchain makes it possible. We all know something about Bitcoin, like it's expensive. Sometimes it's just so hard for us to understand why it's at such a high price. Before we understand this, we should look into the technology that Bitcoin is based on, blockchain. Blockchain means blocks and chain. This is not a nonsense, but actually when you look into these blocks, there are thousands of transaction information recorded in each block. And they are connected in a time order, so it's like a chain. You can just simply imagine that in the past, the bank used to keep the account for us everyone, and now everyone has a ledger and everyone does the accounting. So it can be quite hard for you to change some information recorded on the chain. And you can just imagine that before your transaction, you send a broadcast to everyone so that everyone knows this information and they can record this information for you. This is a genius invention. But if I have the default behaviors, I don't want to pay back money, I can still do that because this system can only make others know if you didn't pay back. There is no mandatory system. Then, in 2014, a man called Vitalik came up with this thought. Since things on the blockchain is immutable and decentralized, can we just put some programming codes into the chain? Wouldn't it be possible that they will be executed automatically? So this is Ethereum, and these programs are smart contracts. Now, if I am an owner of a startup company I want to fund, I can just start a crowdfunding campaign and write some promise into this smart contract. And if I reach my funding goal, this money of the investors will be transferred into my pocket automatically. And if I don't reach, they will be returned. So this system helps the investors to be more willing to help because they don't have to worry about wasting of money. But so far, it just seems that blockchain has replaced the previous platform like crowdfunding platform with an automatic program, but this is just the beginning. Last month, a group of art lovers, they burnt a painting from artist Banksy and gave it live streaming. People said they were crazy, but the electronic version of this painting was then auctioned off at 4x price. Originally, this painting was made into an electronic version, and buying it means buying a unique code of it based on the blockchain technology, and buying which is NFT. And buying this NFT means getting the ownership of this painting, which is harder to understand that Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, just sold his first tweet at this price, $2.5 million. How to sell or buy a tweet? Should I print it out and give it to you? No, in short, NFT is a unique code. It's like you go to the notary and prove to others that this thing is yours. And the author will give you the electronic signature as authority, then you will end up with an electronic certification. So combining this NFT technology with the Ethereum smart contract we mentioned before, things can be very interesting. Smart contracts allow traditional finance behaviors to be carried out on the blockchain, such as lending and trading. For example, you can pledge one of your Bitcoin into the fund pool and to get some USD. And this NFT can make everything you own digital. In the future, maybe you can pledge one of your paintings, one of your copyrights. Everything you own, tangible or intangible, can be used to obtain liquidity. So in the future, maybe there will be no longer commercial banks, and maybe everything you own will be digital. You can just do all the transactions online. And this is decentralized finance, DeFi. Finally, I want to end this speech with a saying from Bill Gates in 1994. Banking is necessary, banks are not. Thank you.